So tonight we're going to do a presentation on the Rangers. Not going to spend a whole lot of time talking about COSCA because you're all aware of what that is. And we dragged the Rangers up here. They've had a really rough week in wilderness first aid training, so most of them have recovered from their injuries, which you will see later in the slideshow. And so we're going to have them come up and tell them a little bit about them personally, so you can get to know your Rangers. Come on up, everybody. Yay! Yeah. Now's the time to do that then.
It's up here. Nick's not here, so I can leave it. Good evening, board members. My name's Bruce Pace. I'm the lead park ranger for COSCA. Let's see. I'm gonna tell you a little bit of background. I got a 2-year degree in park management at West Valley College a long time ago. Then I went on to Chico State, got a bachelor's in recreation administration. My previous work, I've done a lot of jobs, so I'm not gonna, I'll just kind of go through them real quick. I worked for the United States Forest Service in fire. I worked on the Tahoe, the John Muir. Let's see, where else? I worked for Mid-Peninsula Regional Open Space District. Went on to Foothills Park for the city of Palo Alto. From there, I worked as ranger for Santa Clara County Parks. And then after that, moved up to the Central Coast, worked up at Lopez Lake for the county of San Luis. And in 1992, I started working here for COSCA. So, been here more than half my life, which is a long time. So, the best thing about my job, I think, is working with these guys. They're a great bunch of people to work for or work with. And the projects we do, we tackle together. As you'll probably see in some of the photos, we do some pretty cool stuff out in the open space. So that's pretty much my favorite part of this job is working with these guys and just doing really cool projects. So that's it for me.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Ryan Stead. I'm a Thousand Oaks local. I've lived here pretty much my whole life with the exception of a few years. I studied at CLU and got my degree in psychology.
And that helps.
Yeah, it's great, especially working with them, especially Bruce actually, but yeah, it helps a lot. My background has been with various agencies since about 2003. National Park Service, some state parks work, Mountains Restoration Trust, many different agencies. So over about altogether seasonal work and full-time about 10 years or so of park service work. And most of my focus before I came to COSCA was in interpretation, education, and a lot of resource management work, including native plant restoration. So all that background really was fun to bring here and enjoy so much working with these guys. Like Bruce said, one of the best things is working with this group. And for me, something else I really enjoy is working with community groups, local community groups doing volunteer projects. It's really rewarding to me. But really excited to be here. I appreciate everything you do. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Rick Bertelson, and I have a little bit of a different route to becoming a ranger. After leaving a career of 19 years as an automatic transmission rebuilder, I determined I needed to be outside. My passion was in the outdoors. So in 2011, we moved from Northern California to Southern California, went back to school, and I went to Cal State Northridge and earned a BS in recreation tourism and hospitality management. And after the degree, I took an internship with U.S. Forest Service and worked a 6-month season in Leadville, Colorado, where I worked in special uses administration as a ranger. And then after my internship expired, I came back where I lived in Camarillo and was hired here 4 years that I've been here. And same thing, love working with these guys, and I just love the diversity of the work. And I love being out on the trails most, doing trail work. I think is probably my favorite part of the job. Thank you.
Hello, my name's Sean Smith. I've been with the Park District for about 6 years. I've been a ranger 5 of those. I previously worked on the grounds division with CRPD, and prior to that, I had done grounds work for LA Unified School District. Before that, I got my BA degree in geography from Cal State Northridge. I've lived in Ventura Ventura County for most of my life. I've been enjoying the trails out here for a long time. My favorite part of the job is to get out into the open space and interact with the visitors and help them have the experience that they're looking for.
Hi, my name's Joe Neary. I'm a contractor with the Rangers, which means I work about 2 days a week with them. I really love going out there. It's probably my favorite 2 days of the week is to come here and get physical and work on the trails. I really enjoy seeing everybody out there using trails, knowing that they're safe, super important. And today we were working, we saw coyotes running through the open space, knowing that there's a place for the coyotes to go and all the animals. And just super fun, and I love the work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Michael McGurk. I'm an open space technician here at COSCA. I have a bachelor's degree in history and anthropology. After I graduated, I worked in cultural resource management, where I had the opportunity to dig on Santa Cruz Island Nature Conservancy, along with a group from UCLA. I was able to work with the Santa Rosa Island Historic Project with NPS. Was able to dig out in the islands. I worked on Santa Susana Field Laboratory alongside NASA and the Department of Energy. And I was given an opportunity here, and was lucky enough to get the tech position, and I've been working using my volunteer experience with Los Padres. I was a volunteer wilderness ranger, and I got to take my passion and make it an actual career for myself. So love working with these guys, and one of the things I like most about this job is being able to give back to the community that helped raise me. I grew up here in Thousand Oaks, and every day I get to go out there and make our town a little bit better.
Well, that's a good introduction to a great crew of people that work really hard. And Rangers are very much generalists. We're gonna go through the slides here. We're gonna go through a little history. This is the oldest picture I could find of Wildwood with a ranger. The patch is an old Conejo Rec and Park patch. So, but we're trying to figure out when this was. We figured that's a 1963 GMC or Chevy truck. So somewhere late 60s likely. So that's that. So slightly more recent park ranger picture, but you'll notice the logo is still CRPD. If you look on the left side of that photograph, that's Tim Hagel. And he did start with us as a park ranger. If you've been hiking in Wildwood, you might recognize that or might not, but that's the cave down in the bottom where the bathrooms are. This apparently is the old ranger uniform for when they were doing construction.
That's awesome.
Part of the history, looking back, we got back to 1990, we had about 7,000 acres, and now we have about 12,000 acres and have one less ranger. Curious. There they all are. We were missing the two. My apologies to Brian, but I just thought that Brian Stark is in charge of COSCA and the rest of the rangers. We're missing the two on his right tonight, Nick and Carrie. Rangers, when you come to work, you don't know what you're going to find every day. You may have a plan, you may have an idea that you're all going to get together and do a big project, and then you go to opening, and for some reason there's 100 people at Tarantula Hill on a Saturday morning, you don't know why. Social media has created these situations where all of a sudden there'll be 100 people at a party. It just happens. We do a lot of Eagle Scout projects. This is a rebuild of the TV that recently happened. Just to spruce up, but it's something that's gonna last for years, and it's great. Another thing that you might end up doing is cleaning up a homeless shelter, or removing a big party spot. And I know our two board members that sit on COSCA know that I've used this picture, and this one, the photo on the left, I just find amazing is, who had the energy to do that? This is some old stuff that we used to take out of open space. This is a big trailer up in Rancho Coturo. That was a fun day trying to figure out how we could knock that over and cut it out. And it made a good noise when it fell over. Graffiti is almost a daily activity. On the far left, you see the graffiti, and on the far right, you see the cleanup there. Some of it's very creative. We have to clean it all up. And it's, we try and get to it within 24 hours. That's a goal. Some days a tree's gonna fall across the trail, or one of the bridges is gonna wash out, and you're gonna have to be ready to get that done too. And if all these things are happening, that keeps you from doing the project you had planned. Rangers have a lot of skills. They're able to point at levels really well. Nate's not here, so he didn't get that, did he? We do have good carpentry skills, concrete work. Obviously, the diversity of their past really leads to being able to fix transmissions and stuff as well. Every Wednesday is Big Project Wednesday, so they try and have a job that's going to take everybody, try and get a big thing done. When you have to install a bench in concrete 2 miles up a trail, that takes some strategy and some heavy moving, because you got to take concrete 2 miles and stuff like that. There are seasonal responsibilities. We have two big responsibilities. One is the DAMP, which is the Drainage Action Management Plan, and that involves cleaning all the V ditches and drainages from open space that go into the drain. So you got to make sure you do it. You got to make sure you do it right. If you don't, that's what you end up doing when it's raining, is cleaning out the drain while it's raining. So don't cheat yourself. The other one is weed abatement. Last year was big. This year we'll see. We're not sure how things are going to go this year, but we do all the weed abatement for our properties, COSCA, CRPD, and we do all the trails. The trails overgrow as well, so there's a lot that happens there. More fun stuff. Signs. Oh my gosh, we're very proud of our signs, that we don't just have generic signs. Each sign is handmade. We have a machine for routing them, and they're installed with love. The shop is ready to go to fix almost anything that we have. We've got power tools ready to go, generators in case of emergencies, or for running power tools up on the hills. Building trail. We have been building for the past 6 or 7 years about 1 mile to 1.5 miles a trail a year, which is great. That's a really good number to be hitting. This is the realignment of the Los Robles Trail in the Rasnow area. And I wanted to show you how this starts is with Google Earth, and we get the elevation and the distance to see if we can actually do it. In this case, we can. Then the rangers start crawling around out there. This is an actual GPS tracking of one of the rangers a couple weeks ago when they were trying to track the route that we were planning. So there's a lot of going up and down the hill, finding a rock or something and moving around and trying to get from point A to point B. Find the best line. So they'll be doing this 3 or 4 more times before we get that alignment pretty close. Then they'll come in and brush it, and that's what the flagging looks like, and that's what how dense the brush looks. That's what a ranger looks like in the middle of the flagging. And they'll come back and brush it open with a crew and a bunch of chainsaws, and then we'll come back in and actually do the dirt work, hopefully a trail work day in the fall. Rangers have a lot of special training. There's a lot of things you got to be ready for. It's like I started off with, this is the most diverse group we have. They've been through archaeology training to protect the archaeological sites on our properties. We have digitized maps in the trucks, so if the fire department's coming in and they want to do something during a fire, we have the authority and power to say no if there's archaeological sites there. We've been through helicopter training, and we continue to do those type of things because the helicopters do land on our properties for injuries and during fires. This is the Wilderness First Aid that was held this week. I don't know who did the makeup this year, but it did a fantastic job, very realistic. And of course, with wilderness first aid, you don't have a first aid kit necessarily with you, so you're improvising with the sleeping bags and everything else to make splints. There's so much cool ranger work. I had to break it into 3 sections. We've worked with the National Park Service for the bobcat, mountain lion, coyote programs. The very first bobcats and coyotes were radio tagged on our properties, and we assisted with that. And they've been just great friends, being able to share with us and let us know when a lion's in an area or what's going on, keeping us informed. It's been a great relationship, and they share cool pictures with us too. Fire does happen. This is actually the hill fire about 20 minutes after it started, going up the hill, and the bridge that night as it started burning. One of our previous contract employees became a Ventura County fire person, and he ended up sharing these photos with us. Our work is not fighting fire directly. We're peripheral to it. We open the gates, we close the parks. Our job is to make sure that the public is safe and out of the parks. So we're not actually fighting fire, but we're a resource for the fire department. And since usually it's our stuff that's burning or it's our stuff that has the accident on it, then we're involved. And you get to take cool pictures of helicopters. Our bikes we have a bell program. If you're not familiar, at the top of a few of the peaks around here, there are bell boxes where mountain bikers can pick up one bell, and then they put that on their bike, and it acts as a warning to equestrians and hikers that, hey, there's a bike coming, and it's very appreciated by the more silent users of the trail. Some people get into overkill. This is the Ranger's bike quiver. We have a number of e-bikes and some of our older bikes that are purely pedal power. Extremely valuable for us to be using these. We have had 2 lost people in the parks. The Rangers were able to cover about 25 miles of trail in one of the parks in about an hour because they split up on bikes and a couple trucks, and were able to clear a huge portion of Wildwood and let the sheriff worry about other parts of our open space. Bruce usually has that smile on his face when he's riding. The Rangers were also called by Giant Bicycles recently to act as slightly consultants almost on how they use the bikes, because the Rangers do have trailers. They carry tools up the trail to do work. They use them for patrol, and Giant was very interested in how they use the bike. So that was a really fun day to go to their offices, see the really cool bikes, and be able to help out with some information with them. Some of our open space is very inaccessible, but very beautiful. This is in the southern end of Wildwood, up one of the canyons. It's just a great spot. They have to be ready for interpretation and for making sure that animals are safe and people are safe from the animals. So they gotta be able to know their plants, their animals, their bugs. That's a bee swarm that was picked up by the Rangers and moved safely to save the bees and to keep them from bugging people. There they all are. Some are smiling, some are looking a little rough, but that's the bench that they put in. It works. So we're available for questions if you have any or comments.
Thank you very much.